Hello everybody and welcome to this lesson. Today we are going to be creating a hypothetical dance, which means we're going to create a dance right now on the spot. But first I'd like you to crack on with this starter task. So please pause the video now and just attempt these questions. Okay, going through the answers. So the 6 dance actions are of course jump, turn, balance, stillness, travel and gesture. 3 dynamics. Now I've just given soft, sharp and smooth. We know that there are tons of dynamics, so just check for yourself, remembering that a dynamic is anything that describes how you perform the movement. Number 3 is defining pathways, which is the design traced in space. Okay, and we know that there are different kinds of pathways, which we'll get onto in our extra challenge. Defining levels, this is the distance from the ground, low, medium or high. Spatial awareness is the consciousness of the surrounding space and its effective use. So it's being conscious of everything around you and using the space effectively. Formations is the shape or patterns created in space by the dancers. So now let's look at the extra challenge. So naming a formation. Okay, so that might be a square formation. That might be a semicircle formation. That might be a diamond. It's going to be any shape in which dancers can stand in. So naming a pathway, we could have had a zigzag pathway, we could have had a curved pathway, we could have had a linear pathway. So there's a variety of pathways that you could have had. So just pausing the video now if you need a little bit extra time just to mark your answers. Remember to use red pen to add any that you missed. Okay, moving on to today's lesson. So we are going to be creating a dance. This is a hypothetical dance, so we won't be moving, but we'll be planning and writing it. First of all, you need to pick a stimulus to base your dance on. So we know that a stimulus is the inspiration for an idea or movement. So this is our starting point. Okay, you're going to pick one of these images. So I'll just give you 10 seconds to quickly think which image you'd like to create your dance on. Okay, so you have picked one of the stimuli. So either the bubbles, the handshake, the pack of wolves, or that gravity, kind of the balls kind of swinging, that ricochet, that kind of pendulum one. So once you've done that, you are now mind mapping around that picture. So obviously you're not going to draw the picture. Well, you could do if you wanted to, just draw a little sketch, or you could just write kind of bubbles in the middle if your one is the bubble one, and then you're just going to mind map around that your initial thoughts of your dance. So that might include the meaning of your dance, the story, the mood, and so this is just your initial thoughts on what your dance might look like. Then after you've done that, you do need to create a choreographic intention, and this needs to be really clear. Now, a choreographic intention is the aim of the dance, so what the choreographer aims to communicate. So you need to think of your stimulus, but also what is the aim of your dance? What are you showing to the audience? So you now have 5 minutes to mind map around your chosen picture. Off you go. Pause the video now, please. Okay, moving on to completing your table. So this is our hypothetical choreography. We should know our choreographic intention, the aim of our dance, and now you're going to create the oral setting, the costume, the lighting, the set, and the dancers. So let's go through this one at a time. So when you are describing the oral setting, you need to mention the different instruments, the tempo, which means the speed of the music, and the pitch, which means how high or low the music sounds. Okay, so using kind of your music brain, your music knowledge, and you are just going to, in that box, describe what the music might be to your dance. Remember, all of this is linking back to the choreographic intention, so make sure it links to your idea. Next, you will describe the costume. So make sure you're really specific in terms of clothing type. So not just a top. Is it a button-up blouse? Is it a short sleeve shirt? Yeah, being really specific with what it is. And then you might also want to talk about the colour, maybe the material it's made in. In terms of lighting type, so I mean the actual light. So are they spotlights? Is it a general wash? Is it natural light from the sun? What actual lighting is it? And then again, you want to talk about colour. So what colour are the lights? And then you're going to want to move on to the set. So you will want to describe where they are, what they're doing, so the stage. So is it a proscenium arch, simple stage? Are they dancing in the round? That means the dancers are all around them. And you're going to want to talk about the props. So do they have any props in this dance? And then dancers. So how many dancers are in your dance? Remember, you can make this up. So you could have 20 dancers, or you could have a duet of 2 dancers. You might want to mention the gender of the dancers if that's relevant. And your extra challenge, once you've done that, you can also draw your costume. So getting out a pencil and actually drawing, having a go at drawing your costume, and you might want to draw the props or the sets. So pausing the video now, please, and completing that first page of your table. So you have now completed the whole first side of the table. So now we need the movement to go with this dance. So we have the 4 categories down the side. So we have actions, dynamics, space, and relationships. And you can see from the columns that we are creating 2 different motifs. So think of motif 1, remembering that a motif is a short phrase of movement. So maybe 3 or 4 movements in each motif. So breaking down the actions, you want to name what actions you are doing. So are you doing a travel, a turn, a jump, a gesture, a stillness, or a balance? And remember, you don't just need to state jump. Make sure you are specific. So are you doing a tuck jump with your hands touching your knees? Yes, so make sure you are describing the action. Then you get to dynamics, so how you're performing that movement. Then you get to the space, so what level is that on? So if it was a jump, so you're jumping on a high level. You also want to think about what direction you're facing. Is this motif performed facing the front, facing the diagonal, facing the side, facing the back, for example? Is it a big size of movement or is it a small size of movement? If it travels you, on what pathway does it travel you, etc. So describing where you are, the space. And then you want to talk about relationships. So when there's more than one dancer, which hopefully you will have done, if you've done a solo, don't worry. If there's more than one dancer, there can be different relationships. So can there be a moment of contact where they're touching each other? Can there be a specific formation that they're standing in? Do they perform it mirroring, meaning that they're performing in perfect symmetry? Or is there a bit of action and reaction, meaning that when one dancer does something, the other dancer reacts? So make sure you add specific detail in terms of actions, dynamics, space, and relationships. Okay, so final thing you need to do is this quick plenary. So I encourage you to pause the video now and to think about these questions. Okay, so quickly whizzing through the answers. A choreographic intention is the aim of the dance, what the choreographer wants to communicate. A stimulus is the starting point, the inspiration for the start of a dance. Levels is the distance from the ground. Are you on a high level? Are you on a medium level? Or are you on a low level? And mirroring is performing in perfect symmetry with somebody else. And mirroring, remember, is a type of dance relationship. Excellent, everybody. Well done. Good work.